friends. I'm Chrissy, and this is my first knitting podcast. This is Questions for Dessert. In my last video, which I think now is like several months old, I talked a little bit about where my name came from and what I intend for this channel to be. And I'm just really glad you're here. You can go back when you're done with this video. You can go back if you want to learn more. I apologize for the lighting, but because of my work schedule, this is the only opportunity that I have to film until like 5 days from now. So we've got weird sunshine. So a little bit about what you can expect from me and this podcast. There will be other videos on my channel, but as far as this podcast, I'm ideally would make a video once a month. But that's going to depend on a few things. It's not going to be a firm schedule of monthly, but I'm hoping for at least one a month. The structure will kind of follow in the beginning the typical knitting podcast. We'll talk about finished objects. We'll talk about works in progress. We'll talk about acquisitions. And then also because I don't know if anybody's going to watch this. And when I go back through my YouTube history, both here and on my previous channel, I really do this for me. I have stopped feeling guilty about not journaling because I enjoy making video journals. I post daily when I'm on a streak, and then I take time off, and then daily again, shorts that review my day and bring in the Reiki precepts. I am adding a few extra segments in this podcast for me to look back on, and for you, if you're interested in. I'm going to try really, really hard to add timestamps, but we're not going to let the perfect be the enemy of the good, and getting it finished is more important than it being perfect and super polished. So what you can expect after the finished objects, work in progress, and acquisitions, I will be telling you about what I'm reading, both books and what tarot cards I'm currently reading with. I'll tell you a little bit about where I am with Reiki. Reiki is how I choose to experience spirituality at this point. I am a Reiki master and a Reiki master teacher, so I'll be talking about that toward the end as well. And then other new things, exciting things that are going on in my life. Let's get started. I very first started knitting in January of this year, so I'm only 6 months in, and I only have one project, and it's not finished. This is the Cozy Memories blanket by Kemper Ray. I've woven all the ends in, but obviously I haven't sewn them in yet. I am loving making this blanket. I'm over halfway done. I'm really, really thrilled. So this is my Cozy Memories blanket. So the other project I've just started to work on is what I'm calling the Big Sister blanket. I'm taking inspiration from the Battenberg blanket, although I've never looked at that pattern. I just know I've seen several people make the blanket, crochet the squares, and that's what I'm doing. I'm using, once I make my Cozy Memories blanket from a 10-gram mini skein, I'm using what's left to make a granny square. And then when I have enough granny squares, I will alternate these with a single solid color and make what I'm calling a Big Sister blanket for two of my nieces who just had a little sister. I just started this weekend. So what I have so far is one that just finished off a skein. These are two that I made for my nieces the weekend their baby sister was born. These two are from Indigo Fiber, and then these two are from yarn that I bought when I was at the beach with my nieces over the summer. I have 7 so far. In a perfect world, my intention for this is to bust my little fingers to work them to the bone, and then get all of the squares done in the next few months. When some point in the fall, take them to a yarn store, let them pick out their solid color, and have the blankets finished by Christmas. I realize that's probably super ambitious, but I'm making 1 square a day on my Cozy Memories blanket and then finishing up the yarn with this. I had just enough left to make tiny little, these are 3 rounds. These are 6. These are 3, to make these tiny little postage stamp size that I will probably make, put in a shadow box, do something more as an art project than a blanket, because I cannot imagine having an entire blanket of squares this little. So these will be used for something, but these will be as a representation of the Big Sister blanket. The yarn that I have acquired this month, the yarn that I'm working through, I do a row 1 subscription, so I get 20 10-gram mini skeins a month. And I cannot tell you how excited I was to see that this month's yarn comes from Indigo Guinea. I found her at our local Sheep and Wool Festival a few months ago, and I'm in love. Her colors, the way the yarn works up, how it kind of leaves you guessing. I think it's just stunning. I am so thrilled to work these up. This will be, first of all, in my Cozy Memories blanket, and then making just one, I think is all I could get last time. 1 granny square for the Big Sister blankets. So moving on to books, I decided to just go back to the most recent book I read, not because I couldn't decide like how far do I go back if I'm like books read. So just the most recent book I finished and what I'm working on now. The most recent book I finished is Infinite Light by Nathalie Jaspar. This is a written form of interviews that she's done on her Reiki podcast with a variety of Reiki masters, one of which being someone I'm currently studying with. Another chapter is with a teacher I've studied with before. And I thought this was such an interesting book. Also, I mean, first of all, the size of this book is more workbook. So from a logistical standpoint, it was kind of difficult to read because it was difficult to hold, but it was lovely. Very conversational. I think I'll go back and listen to some of these podcasts. It was lovely. I really enjoyed it. And what I am reading now is Ordinary Mysticism. I have realized, and I'll probably talk about this at some point in the future, that this book is helping me figure out why I was hesitant to label myself a witch. And it's because I don't feel like I'm a witch. I don't feel like I do witchy things. I mean, I do witchy things. I enjoy my crystals and my essential oils, and I make simmer pots, and I'm very intentional about the spices that I cook with and the tea that I drink, but I don't consider myself like I'm not doing magic. I'm being mindful and intentional. And that's how this book feels. So this book is really helping me to really think about identifying the work that I do, the way I move through the world, as mystical instead of witchy. So a little more name dropping in here than I'm comfortable with. It feels a little pretentious, but I'm ignoring that and I'm moving on. So I'll let you know when I finish the next time I record. Now let's look at cards that I'm reading with. I was an avid tarot reader. I read daily. I taught multiple rounds of learning to read tarot. It was a massive part of my life for a really long time. And then as I shifted what I was studying, my attention went more into Reiki alone. I kind of drifted away from my tarot practice to do more Reiki and clean my house. I've gotten back into a daily draw. So let's talk about the cards that I have been using that I am switching out. The first deck is the Depths Tarot. This deck is a lovely abstract reader. this is what I wanted. This is how I wanted Tarot as Color to speak to me, but I find that the Depths Tarot speaks more clearly to me. These paints were gathered from the earth. This was my weekly draw. I mean, this is a Two of Wands, or swords. I don't remember. Either way, stunning. I am not a good reader when it comes to these suits being changed around. So I have found that this little, not really a guidebook, but this guide pamphlet, open up, here we go, is just brilliantly done. So I don't read with it in a spread because, again, I can't keep the suits straight, but it has been a beautiful reader as a weekly card. Oh, that death is beautiful. Seeing the progression of time here and how we don't know if this is aggressive, which order these go in, but it ends with a final rest. Oh, I just think it's beautiful. I love this deck. So this is the Depths Tarot from, do I know? Depthstarot.com is the website. I don't know that we have a creator's name here anywhere. Yeah, I don't know if it's still available or not. I haven't bought a tarot deck in a long time, but I love this deck. And the other cards that I have been working with is the Dharma Tarot. I love this deck. It is a beautiful daily reader. This bag came from my friend Johniki back when I was a tarot tuber, and this deck is stunning. So one of the things that I love so much about this deck is the backs. In a class that I was taking with Franz Steiner, he very briefly mentioned how one of the meditation tools that some monks use, some Buddhist monks, is staring into a white circle and letting that circle bring up whatever needs your attention. So there would be pennants that would be like flags that would be hanging in front of the person as they meditate with the black flag and the white circle. And I just thought, I used these cards for months before I knew that was a practice, and it just blew me away. I have so enjoyed working with these cards. Each card has a little write-up about either the person, the god, the concept that the card is representing, and then connects it to the tarot card that it has been paired with. And it's just been a beautiful teacher, just being both teacher and reflection. I really enjoyed my time with this deck. What a beautiful hermit. So yeah, this was my daily draw for a while. And some of the cards will have text on them. Every day I did consult the guidebook as well. It's a beauty, and it's a great powerhouse, a thoughtful deck as well. But I'm ready to try something else for a while, to go back to an old favorite. This had been my first time working with this deck. And as it goes back in the tarot closet for the time being, I am bringing out some oldies but goodies. So into the decks that I am using this month. I am using, first of all, this deck never goes far. This is the deck that I made. the Narrative Alchemy Tarot. Right now, I am using this deck in a little foam board form that my friend Tina made for me. But this is my baby. Has it been 3 years ago now that I put this deck out? It's available on Make Playing Cards. It can be used as a tarot deck, an oracle deck, a chakra deck, a Reiki deck. There's all kinds of ways to use it that I talk about in the guidebook. But there's just a keyword and a color, and then the tarot card it represents is in the bottom corner. And I use this every day. My card today was community. It's orange. I get blown away when I see my handwriting in people's Instagram feeds or on their videos. And this deck is my heart, is my understanding of the world, is my understanding of tarot, is my understanding of my soul. It's all of that in card form. And we'll end on the Queen of Wands on magic. I love this deck. It's my baby. It's the Narrative Alchemy Tarot. I have gotten into a practice of using one deck in particular for my weekly draw. And the deck that I am using... Oh, balls, dropped a card. I really enjoy having a specific deck for my weekly draws to get kind of the energy for the week. And the deck that I'm using for that is the Carnival at the End of the World. This deck shows characters, shows energies that we interact with. The energy reflects the energy of the card in a character. And I love thinking about the energy of the week being someone that I interact with, being someone that I can get to know. And sometimes that someone is an animal, right? Sometimes it is what the animal is learning. It's the experience that the animal is having. I just think this deck is so deep with the pentacles almost looking like bread. And as we have temperance with the lessons that we learn, the balance that we're striking, running over and out to everything around us has such a Reiki feel as well. I love it. And here we absolutely have the pentacles as bread. Beautiful. And the reflection that happens. I use the guidebook for this as well because I wouldn't pick up on half of the symbolism if I didn't. It's gorgeous. And how the Two of Cups here, they're so grounded. They're represented by the pinnacle energy, by this grounded energy, but that's cloaked as they're sharing their love. Just beautiful. So, yeah, for my weekly draw, Carnival at the End of the World. And finally, for my daily draws, I'm using Goblins and Gardens. This deck is so great. The little guidebook is clever and brings in D&D concepts that I don't know anything about, but it adds a really cool reference point that is foreign to me, and I really enjoy this deck. And of course, we have a labyrinth here and the Seven of Coins. It's foreign to me. And there's something about it being me not knowing what's going on as far as symbolically in the cards that make me really slow down and think about it. Like if I'm using a Rider-Waite-Smith deck and I see the Six of Cups, I know what that means, and I'm more likely to just bypass it and just take what I know and go on. Where here, I have to really think about it. It's like, all right, so we have a smoking tiger, and we have eggs, and we have dew on the grass. Okay, so what does this mean? How does this reflect in the Hierophant? I love it. And then we have all of this corn. That's going to be popcorn if we're not careful. This deck really connected me with a joy and a comfort in my tarot practice when I first started using it. And I'm really excited to come back to that energy. So Goblins and Gardens is my daily draw, and that wraps up my current tarot practice. I'm sure I will have more videos talking about Reiki, what it is, how I use it, why I love it. You can go back to the previous video where I talk a little bit about what it is and what it means to me. But it's basically, I like to think about Reiki as a way to experience prayer, a way to connect to the great and the ground and others in a way that doesn't have a religious label to it, but sort of a non-branded spirituality. And it really is what is keeping me grounded and sane in gestures wildly around. So right now I am teaching my first round of Reiki 2, and I've absolutely loved it. I will be teaching a round of Reiki 1 again in September. Reiki 1 is where we learn the basics of Reiki, where we practice connecting to that energy as a way of promoting, building space for healing and comfort and ease for ourselves and for people we know and love. So that's Reiki 1. We'll do that in September. Reiki 2, which I'm teaching for the first time now, is where we learn to share, to be with Reiki across distance and time. So it's just another layer of the practice, and I'm really enjoying teaching Reiki 2. And then finally, what's going on in my life? I mentioned briefly that we have a new niece. She was born on July 2nd. Her older sister is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. They live like 2 hours away. My brother and his wife, and now the 3 girls, live next door to my parents. So that's thrilling. My brother sent me home with some eggs from his chickens, so I'm excited to make some egg salad at some point this week with those eggs. I love egg salad. My husband and I will be married, let's do the math, 22 years next week, and we're taking a little trip to North Carolina with our friends to celebrate our anniversary, to celebrate surviving 2025 so far. Yeah, I'm really excited about taking some time away. So that's me. I'm Chrissy. This is my podcast. What I'm knitting, what I'm crocheting, what I'm reading. I have so many projects that I'm thinking about that I can't wait to share with you. I brought back a quilt that I made 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that needs some patchwork, some mending. So that's going to be coming up soon. I am planning on teaching myself more of how to knit and sharing that with you, and just everyday things that are going on in my home, in my life, in my little family of my husband and my cat. It's so weird to say my cat. If you all know me, if you've been here before, if you've come from my other channel, we lost our Herschel girl in April. She was my best friend. So I'm still adjusting to life without Herschel. But wow, way to end on a bummer, Chrissy. I'll insert a really cute picture of my giant cat Albus here. So to bring the mood back up, my 30-pound chunk of an Albus cat. So friends, thank you so much for being here. If there's any questions you have, anything you want to see, please let me know. I'm so thrilled to finally be putting this out in the world. I've been thinking about it for months, and I'm so thrilled to finally be here. And to close, sending out to ourselves, to anyone who will interact with this video, and to all that we know and all that we do not know. May we all live in safety. May we all live in health. And may we all live in ease. I'll see you next time, friends.